Right, hello YouTube, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to do a different video today. This is going to be me running through my whole fitness journey, going from a little skinny guy, popping somewhere up here, to 7-time champion, popping here, of natural teen bodybuilding. Now, I'm going to run through each year. So 2020, it starts April 2020 is my proper training. We'll go a little bit earlier than that as well. And then we'll go all the way through to now, which is January 2026, if anyone's watching this in the future. And then talk about my future plans, so when I'll be competing again and what I'm going to be doing going forward. So April 2020, we're starting that year, but we're going to go back even further very quickly. This is me completely locked in. We've got myself in a Sidemen t-shirt, training with my dad in the local leisure centre. You can see there in the chest press, mental arousal intensity seems to be absolutely incredible. Legs look massive. On the treadmill, getting a wee hard workout there, and then seat belted in on what seems to be a lat pull down. So yeah, the seat belts before they were popular. I was optimal even at that age. I don't even what 10 years, nah, older than 10 years old there, maybe like 12. I don't know, but yeah, that was the very first time I imagine I'd ever stepped foot in a gym. And I seen that I put together, I've been going through my camera roll from 2020 to 2021. I seen I put a side by side transformation together as if that was like normal to do. Oh yeah, there's just my transformation from when I was 5 years old. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna start doing for all my clients. Mate, can you send me a picture of when you were like 6 year old, and then I can just put it side by side and just say that's a progress I've made. Absolutely crazy. I'm gonna show you my physique before I was kind of training at all. Very skinny at this point, sub 50 kg I believe, or around the 50 kg mark. I'll say that. The first photo with me and my brother, and then me doing like the overhead tricep extension. I'm sat at that 50 kg range. We're in Turkey at that point. And at that point, I hadn't done much training. You know, go to the gym with my mates sometimes here and there, and piss about, but nothing drastic at all. Not like eating anything that I should have been eating. Not really focusing on nutrition in the slightest. So the first photos that I've got of my physique, of me actually training, are in my bathroom with the worst haircut I've ever seen. This was lockdown. Look at my eyebrows as well. Big slugs, then just full eyebrows. I say eyebrows, it's just eyebrow. There's still eyebrow in the middle. You see my massive legs there, and me just taking photos in my bathroom. I think I would have got like my dad and my mum to come along and say, yeah, take photos of my physique here. So this is me probably around a month into training, and that's when I started in my home gym, which was literally my living room with some dodgy weights. So my brother and his friends, they went and bought some weights off of some Polish guy. They were all rusted. The plates, it was like a 2.5 kg bar. They paid a lot for it because in lockdown, like stuff like that was super expensive because all the gyms closed. So we had that in our living room, and I started training there. I'll get this video of me doing the deadlifts for the first time ever, which is crazy. Like the the difficulty of me doing that, and that's a 70 kg pull. I remember that being so difficult, but being buzzing with it. So the first time I ever deadlifted, just about shat myself trying to pull 70 kg. I've put some physique photos up of when the gyms did open, so this was a little bit later on. By this time, we're a few months down the line, so let's say I started April time. We're starting to get towards August, September here. The gyms had been open for about a month or two, and then they shut back down because of like another wave of it hit. But this was my physique. I must have been kind of 60 kg here, so I'd gained a good amount of weight, really built up like a good solid foundation. I was just doing training in the living room. I'd put some fucking techno music on the TV, just train for an hour randomly whenever I wanted to. But getting back into the gym, I started to get more kind of structure, so more routine, and actually kind of a bit more focused towards my goals. You'll see my 80 kg deadlift there, absolutely flying, doing it in my Nike Vapor Max as well. Great baseline there to be pulling from, great base to be pulling from, sorry. No stability and just air. But yeah, I started to get a good chunk stronger here. That was what, 70 kg bench, and I was moving pretty well, buzzing with that. That's good. And this is when I started to again actually take it more seriously. I remember posting that deadlift video, the one of me doing the 80 kg. I posted it on TikTok and asked the guy for like form feedback, because there's a guy, his name was Tim something. Was really good at deadlifting, and he always used to do like form feedback pretty much on TikTok, and I tagged him and I was like, how is this? He gave me a little bit of feedback. I'll also put on in the background like a wee transformation. Yeah, 52 kg it says there. 52 kg skin and bone, and then 66 kg, 14 kg heavier. I believe that was sort of October time that I took those photos. So from that point, 50 kg to 65 kg, some pretty good going to be fair. It's just those newbie gains, they were OP. I also put my back my back workout in here as well. Don't know when this other wee video will be finishing up, but my back workout was atrocious. Back workout for size and strength, it says deadlift 4 sets of 10. That's absolutely mega. But no, over this period from April 2020 to April 2021, that's when I made a lot of my progress. You know, like in that first year, when you've got those newbie gains, you can make so much use of them. We'll skip forwards to a little bit later. You'll see the transformation between my legs here, growing quite a lot. You'll see me squatting 137.5 kg. So this was now into kind of March 2021 time. So nearly been training for a year here. It says February 2021 actually. I'd nearly been training for a year here. I had 140 kg squat. I think about a 160 kg deadlift, and then 115 maybe bench at that point. Oh no, I think that was later on. I'm mistaken. So yeah, I'm going to put some photos up, all of this, and that covers my first year of training. This is really fun for me to look back at, actually, and now we'll get into years April 2021 to 2022. A lot darker since the last recorded, apologies. It takes a while to actually get through all the photos and kind of figure out what was in what year. We're now into 2021. I'll put up some photos here of where I finished my kind of gaining phase at. This is when I got my first coach, actually. Yeah, fat mess. I put a picture of my face up, literally just a bowling ball. I don't know how I ended up getting to this position. This was 75 kg, pretty damn soft, as you can see from these check-in shots with the blue shorts on. Then in a 4-week diet, shout out Cruz, because God knows how he's done this. I actually got in good shape within the space of 4 weeks. I got into pretty damn good shape. That was, yeah, July 11th to August 7th. I must have been eating nothing. Went from pretty chunky to lean very quickly. That's when I kind of thought, I look decent here. I really do want to take this more seriously. I'm going to start kind of helping my mates out with their training. I was learning a lot from my coach Cruz at the time. I was like, I want to start to help out my mates and see if anyone wants any help and I can give them some advice and just kind of coach along with them. Started giving some people a wee helping hand, which was nice, but that was my first introduction to coaching. So from 2021 July time all the way through to middle of 2022, I was coached by Cruz. So I'll see if I can get some photos side by sides as to what that started like and that end like. So I had that diet, and then it was the big gaining phase. Got back up to 75 kg, but a much better 75 kg. Much bigger, but not as soft and not as fluffy. And what I believe was July 2022. I'm going to have a wee check here. It'll be the first check-in photos that I sent that were quite low down. Yes, because Finn wanted me to take the photos a little bit lower down because I said I've got maybe competitive goals. He was like, the judges are going to be slightly below you, so I like to see them at hip height instead of from like above. And that was, let me see the date, July 2022. So this is when I started with Finn, and I thought, right, I'm going to have a bash at this competing thing. I didn't really know anything. I remember somebody asked me, oh, who are you competing with? And I think I said the WNBA, the Women's National Basketball Association. So that's not great. I was trying to say the WNBF, but I knew absolutely nada about bodybuilding at that time. But again, for a good 6 months to a year, I'd been taking things a lot more seriously with Cruz, but I kind of wanted more. I wanted to bodybuild, and that's not what Cruz done. And I knew Finn had prepped a few people that year, and I'd been listening to his podcast. I was like, fuck it, yeah, I'm going to do it. Let's go. So I'm going to get my sheets up actually as well so I can chat you through this a little bit better now. So let's go into 2022 to 2023. So I've got some photos here from the 20th of June 2023. That was at 66 kg body weight. I came in really quickly. Now this is the good thing about my genetics. I get lean really easily. The bad thing is that I really struggle to put weight on and I hate eating foods. So dieting phases, preps, I thoroughly enjoy, and then gaining phases are pretty brutal. It's not the position that I quite like to be in. I chose the wrong sport considering you need to spend like 90% of your time pushing up to actually build the muscle. But yeah, I like the challenge of it. You know, back then I wasn't very good at it, but now I've got a lot more structure, routine, consistency. It's a bit more like clockwork and it happens a lot better. But yeah, these photos looking back at are pretty cool, to be honest. This again, 66 kg. This was around, 10 weeks into prep? Prep started in week number 41. That was 53, so that's 12 weeks in. I competed at 15 weeks in to prep. So that was the WNBF first timers. I'll put some shots up on screen here. Again, literally no clue what I was getting into here. Like I didn't know if I was going to place, if I was going to look, out of place entirely on stage. I was like, fuck, this could be really bad. Went in, won my class, absolutely buzzing, won the teens, honestly, over the moon, so giddy. Look at myself. Brand, you don't even need to put that one up on screen. Look at that. Terrifying. But yeah, I won the class, which was great. Then went on to the overall, not really understanding the whole type of thing as to how big it would be to win an overall, and won it. So that was like my big introduction to bodybuilding. Like, fuck yeah, that this could really be my career and how things go for me, because I know that I've got good potential in it. You know, considering the amount of time that I had put in beforehand to get where I was like, fuck, this could be good. Imagine what it's going to be like with a big gaining phase, and now I'm just washed in shite. But no, that was a really, really cool day. That was my first bodybuilding show. And at this point, I had, I think, maybe 4 shows planned out for the season. But as we got further in, we were like, there's more opportunities. What could we do? We could do this, we could do that, we could do this, we could do that. There was plenty of them. The next show was 26th of August. I was 65 kg here, and that would have been the BNBF Northern. That was the Manchester show. Yes, so BNBF Northern I thought I was going to bring a really good look for, and I was on track to bring a really good look for. But then we were rushed about, like the show wasn't ran very well. I wasn't able to get a pump backstage. A little bit flatter, was on my feet a little bit more because I was stressed and worried about things as well, and it meant that I wasn't able to bring it as good of a look as I thought I would have been able to. So yeah, I won my class there. I was kind of shooting full overall, but didn't quite get that. I believe I was maybe third. I think his name's Matteo, who won the overall. He was great. Matteo Setedani or something like this. He won the best wheels as well. He was a brilliant bodybuilder. I done 7 shows that season, so I ended up doing the BNBF finals, UK DFBA finals. I then went to compete in Romania, because in the UK shows I had won my teens class, and I was like, I want to try and do something else here, kind of push the boat out a little bit more. And by that point I was 5 for 5, I think, kind of undefeated. So I was like, right, let's fucking go then. I went to Bucharest out in Romania to compete in the IMBA Universe, which was really cool. So I was like an amateur slash pro show. At this point, I'm going to check body weight. We were still kind of hovering at that 65 kg mark. I do think the best look... Oh, I've missed out the best bloody look. The Heart of England, sorry. What date would that have been? Yes, the Heart of England. That's 17th of September. So, yeah, that was my favourite look of the season, and also arguably my best result of the season as well. That was winning the overall against Elliot Gibson, who was incredible. Fucking giant, like absolutely huge. I think he was 96 kg on stage there, and I was 65 kg. That was the shit yourself protocol as well. What a great peaking protocol. If anyone's interested in learning that, let me know. Pretty much just got so... I don't even know what it was. I don't think it was nerves, because I'd competed plenty of times by that point. I wasn't really phased by competing. Don't know what it was that caused it, but I just started shitting my guts out. Night before, couldn't stop. Something didn't digest quite too well. I don't know if it was maybe food that I'd prepped and something had sat wrong. But I was shit. I was like sleeping in bed, and I'd wake up and be like, oh my god, I'm going to shit myself. Run to the toilet, shit. White Mars, come back, and then just fall asleep again and be up. And this happened from maybe 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. Like, I felt really dodgy, and I was like, right, I'm just going to go for a nap, Noah. And that whole time I was just like in and out of consciousness. Lost my charger, lost my AirPods as well. Was absolutely all over the place. Woke up in the morning, and I think I was watching Vinland Saga at that time. And I was like, I'm just going to decide that this doesn't matter. You know, I'm just going to be like Thorfinn. I'm just going to be relaxed. And he'd already went into his kind of nice calm era by this point. For anyone that's watched Vinland Saga, I was like, fuck it. I'm just going to be grateful and be happy that I'm here. Not worry. My stomach wasn't sore. Went to take my check-in photos, and I was like, what's going on here? This is mental. I had no waste. Was like bone dry. I'd shat out every bit of liquid in me. So that was interesting. We fed back up again, but again, because I was like so dry in the morning, like started to add more food in, and I was just soaking it up really, really well, kind of getting that hydration back, and everything was starting to come back to life. And it was my best look on stage, especially for the overall. Chilled out, I had some more foods, everything came to life, like a lot of vascularity, most detail that I'd ever had, and I was super happy with that. So done the Heart of England, won that there. Again, won the rest of the shows in the UK. And then went out to Romania with Casey. So I competed at the IMB Universe, as I was mentioning. Won teens class, which had like nobody in it, 2 random guys from Yemen, I think. I think that's what it's called, because of the way that I remembered it was the Call of Duty Black Ops 2 map. And that was Yemen, wasn't it? So yeah, there was not much competition there. Went into the juniors class, placed thirds behind David Kolat, and then Adam Tikats. I don't know how to pronounce his second name, who's now an IFBB Pro, which is pretty cool. So came third to them, went into the overall. I do believe I beat them in the overall. I was horrendously flat in juniors because we had to go like shopping and stuff in Bucharest, and it meant that like I was on my feet way too much. I wasn't eating enough food, and by that point I was pretty cooked. But then I was like, fuck this, I'm just going to eat. I spoke to Finn and I was like, mate, I'm just going to gub this honey. I'm going to get as much carbs down me as I can without feeling dodgy. Drink a lot of water, good amount of salt. Came back for the overalls with a completely different look and ended up placing fourth in the overall. The top three got pro cards. So that was a bit frustrating. But at the time, I was kind of like, I actually don't mind that I'm not won the pro card here because it gave me something to still shoot for the next show and for the next season as well. The final show, so that was the 22nd or 22nd of October. The final show was the INBA Natural Olympia. So that was out in Vegas. One of the best weeks of my life, to be honest. That was absolutely incredible. I was out there with Finn, with Reese, and with Sam. He was doing all the videography for us. I won the Natural Olympia in the teens class, but again, the competition wasn't very good. Went into the men's lightweight bodybuilding and got absolutely done in. I stood no chance. I think I literally made like third call outs. My physique had faded a lot by that point. Simply just due to being like 30 something, 33 weeks into prep. And my body just wasn't really up for holding that condition anymore because I got in condition really early and like quite nasty condition really early. So I was just trying to kind of hold that and my body had kind of given up a little bit. So yeah, it gave me some really good motivation for the the off season that's to come. And that's what we kind of transition into next. So prep ended at 66 kg, so I was a little bit heavier by that point, trying to kind of bring things back to life. Got back to the UK sitting at 68.5 kg, so I was 4.5 kg up from the prep low and 2 kg up from like my final kind of prep weigh-in. I had a good off season there, so by the time we get round to the end of that off season, I was up towards 80 kg, I believe. Yes, 17th of August, so we're now into 2024. Had a good controlled reversal, very happy with it actually. And again, it grew quite a lot. The peak off season, I was obviously pretty damn soft, being 80 kg, like the difference between 65 kg and 80 kg, I was a lot softer, but I made a lot of progress. Training had become really, really good. I was starting to train out of future, then move away from pro life a little bit, get in different environments, better environments. And that's when I started to really pick up a good rhythm. 80 kg takes us to the 17th of August. Food was pretty high by that point. Yep, 4,200 calories, 700 grams of carbs a day, pretty rough. And that's when we started the dieting phase. That takes us to a 6-week mini cut, which was horrendous, if I remember correctly. I got ill twice quite badly and then had 2 holidays. So I just lost loads of weight from the holidays, loads of weight from the illness, and looked like shit. It got me lean, which was cool. I pulled from 80 kg to 73.5, but that literally happened within that, and it just didn't go very well. A bit unfortunate, my digestion wasn't great at that point. My appetite was pretty horrendous as well. My training rhythm, obviously due to the illness and everything, wasn't great, but we didn't want to waste any time, so got straight back to gaining, even though it was really uncomfortable. Looking back, probably I should have continued to maybe stay at a little bit lower food, but then at that point again, do I want to go much lower than 73.5 kg? It wouldn't have been ideal no matter the situation. So that was a bit of kick in the balls. I do remember going on stage actually in October time for the WNBF Supernatural. So I'll see if I can get some photos up there. Standing next to Dante, getting demolished there because he just turned a WNBF pro. Again, condition was decent, but like just super flat. Lost a good amount of muscle throughout that diet. But back into the gaining phase, as I say, not the best start to it, just because like I wasn't in the mindset of, right, I'm excited to gain, I'm excited to move forwards, my appetite's in a good spot. It was all pretty negative because of the holidays, sorry, and then all the illnesses that I'd went through. But we started to push back up again. Takes us into January time where these new sheets start, 80 kg, pushed up to an all-time high. I say this summer, we're now into 2026. Summer of 2025, I got to an all-time high of 86 kg. I know it wasn't actually summer, it pushed to October. Throughout summer, I started to pick my rhythm back up. So through the start of 2025, and kind of again, like off the back of that gaining phase, I'd started to pick up quite a frustrating injury that didn't seem to have any end. Like I'd went to a lot of specialists and a lot of people that said, oh, you'll be able to fix it, and people that had really good reputations, got nowhere with it. Motivation was pretty low. Business was booming. I got like 2-3 times the amount of clients and then the monthly recurring revenue. I was like, this is great, but it put me under so much stress and pressure that I wasn't ready for. I was a little bit immature still. I wasn't kind of in a position to actually deal with it. Training took a hit. Meals weren't great. Convenient stuff. I was still nailing the basics in a sense. Like I was still turning up to the gym, still training hard, like looking at it on the face of it, but wasn't progressing very well. Didn't have much enjoyment for training. Day-to-day life just wasn't very enjoyable. I wasn't depressed, but like I also wasn't happy, So There was a stint there that wasn't great, but I really started to pick it up. It's as the competitive season began, and as I started to watch my own clients, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, Josh? Pull your finger at your arse here. I started to see my own clients do so well. I'm like, how could I let them do that well and then not back it up myself, not set a good example for them? That's such a good motivator for a coach as well. You know, walk the walk for your clients. How can someone, ask you for advice when you can't do it? It's like going to someone and asking, how do you become a millionaire? You're not going to do that if the person's got no money. You'd ask a millionaire, someone that's good at it themselves. So I started to really pick things back up, and Finn had opened his gym. I'd went down there and trained, and I really got that spark back. The injury died down. Everything just started to come back, and I'm like, fuck yeah, that was really good. Started to get into a good rhythm again. That's when I pushed up to 86.1 kg, hit that peak body weight at the start of October, and that's when I began my current diet. I'm reversing out of it just now. So that diet, so I pulled from 86 down to 75 kg, so that's 10 kg above stage weight, but with a lot more detail. It'll be cool to look back if we can maybe put the 75 kg when I started with cruise versus the 75 kg here. That's pretty cool. And that's the thing, like when I look back at some of those photos in my early days of training, I'm like, fucking hell, I actually look good. I even made progress there. It was just light and angles and everything. When I actually look at the check-in photos, I'm like, there we go. But 75 kg now is light for me. I'm back up to 77-ish for the time being. They dropped down to 75 at my lightest, 76 kg actually, starting to push back up. Now, future goals. So, as I was saying, I'm now around 12 kg up from my previous stage weight, 65 to 77. And I've got like slight lines starting to come through the glutes. The hamstrings are pretty detailed, quad striations, a lot of detail through the back. Like, in a really good spot just now, and it shows that I have built a lot of muscle in these past, say, 9 months of training, where I've started to pick everything back up again and getting such a good rhythm, are starting to pay off, and you can definitely see that in the physique. My plans were to compete in 2026. When I stepped off a stage in 2023, the plans were to compete in 2026, but that sort of grey area that wasn't great made us push it back. I was like, Finn, I don't want to go on stage, and he agreed with me, and he was going to push me to do it as well. I don't want to go on stage when I know I've not done everything that I could have to really be my best. So I want to get a good gaining phase behind me here, and I will get a good gaining phase behind me no matter what. If business goes extremely well, if it doubles, I will make it work. I'm passionate about my own bodybuilding, and I'll always be passionate about that. I feel like passion is infectious as well, so hopefully people watching this video, you're enjoying it. But even like when you're watching all of my content, seeing me train, seeing my clients improve, that it motivates you as well. Like, it's good when I see people out there that are doing stuff and documenting it. That's why I'm going to be continuing to do that. And I'm going to be continuing to push my own process, because it makes me happy as a person. Bodybuilding makes me happy. I love the routine, I love the monotony, I love the progression. Everything about it has made me a better person. I owe a lot to it, and it's realistically, it's gave me my success within business. Again, it gives me structure on a day-to-day basis. It just gives my life that extra fulfillment and enjoyability, and it's cool to look cool as well, isn't it? So yeah, continuing to push my own bodybuilding a lot this year. I'll have my pre-prep diet towards the back end of 2026. So from now, January, very start of January 2026, up until around August time, I will be pushing up, looking to get back up maybe low to mid 80 kgs, not pushing the boat out too far, because I know that I feel uncomfortable and don't fire too well when I'm overly soft and overly heavy. But it'd be nice to get back to 85 kg. If you look at a 0.25 kg rate of gain per week, I will look to see 85 kg-ish by the time that pre-prep diet comes round. Pull back down to 75 kg again next time with even more muscle. I'll be more conditioned, more muscle. That should see us in a good spot, and then prep for 2027. So the goal there will be to get a WNBF Pro card. It's not the be-all end-all, but it's to have a pro-worthy physique, sort of. If somebody turns up at my shows and they're better than me, there's some freaks there, so be it. That is fine. But I want to have a pro-worthy physique. I want people to be like, he's made a lot of progress. That's really impressive. I don't want to turn up looking the same. Looking back at those very first photos at the start of prep makes me think I'll be a lot better realistically, and that's not to be up my own arse. It's just look at the photos, there to there. And again, that's so cool to look back on with bodybuilding. You're always so focused on the next thing and how you're going to be better and how you're going to do this and that, but looking back and actually seeing I've made a lot of progress there, it's sick. So yeah, the prep, go to get WNBF Pro cards, do the later end of the season, ideally in 2027. Prep will start probably around like May time, maybe even June, I don't know, because again, I get into condition quite easily, quite quickly. We don't want to try and hold that for way too long and get the most that we can out of growing as well. So yeah, late in shows for myself, WNBF Pro card be cool. I'd like to go to the WNBF Worlds, compete there, set a good standard for my clients. I'll have a lot of clients on the stage that year as well. I've got 12 coming in 2026, so 2027 I imagine will be even busier, and it's just managing that around my own prep and my own bodybuilding too. So my fitness and bodybuilding journey, done. I hope you all enjoyed. Looking back, it was very nostalgic for me. Those first few years were really cool. Have fun branding, editing this. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Please do like, subscribe. The weekly YouTube videos, I'm getting some really good feedback from people that are enjoying them, that are taking a lot from them, value from them. So hopefully a lot of you out there are too. If you can like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff, please do share in your story if you can. If you are, again, enjoying. If you're not enjoying, then maybe share it in your story and say, fuck this guy's content shit. But share it in your story so that your friends can see it. I can repost it, and I really do just appreciate the support as a whole. So yeah, guys, that's all. Thank you for watching once again, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.